Please don't go past those because if we're missing the arrows, south, about 160 miles an hour, it can really hurt. Perfect, that's a really good demonstration. Well
Certainly early on. Later on, it's
Rich, what you want to do is cheese all the way now. 4.0. We're only 25 anyway.
We have two crossbows, we have a war bow, and a couple of English longbows, or one longbow today. And they're going to start warming up behind me. You'll see them sort of just getting their eye in, starting to practice. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about bows and arrows. Tom will be our line captain, who will So, bows and arrows.
Oh, you're ready both sides.
Who's his name? Yeah.
Good morning, good morning.
As you can see, they're warming up quite nicely. So let me take you back to this same place a bit before Robin Hood, to when we first started emerging with trees from trees. Until the first man realised, hang on, if I bend this stick, it holds energy. The bow and arrow has been used for as long as this has been recorded. And it's still used in America, the compound bows and for 3 years, the versatile weapon. But let's look at the medieval longbow. Okay? Within these terms, like the longbow and warbow, essentially the same thing. Mr. Goodman, can you hold up the finger in your hand, please? That is what I call a warbow. That's a really good bit of wood that bends the whole way through, to give you a lot of energy to loose an arrow. Yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. So, longbow, exactly. But the Victorians were here, weren't they? The worst historians we've ever had, the Victorians were here. And they rebuilt the longbow, and they made it very, very gentrified, and it's very, very pretty, and they created something called the English longbow, which is this one, which in archery terms is called the Victorian longbow. As you can see, it kind of looks like a warbow, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? But it's a little bit idly-piddly compared to the warbows, okay? So, hands up, anyone that has seen the Olympics, archery. Yeah? You've seen it on the telly, yeah? Now, they are professional athletes that have trained for years and years and years and are the best in their field. Those bows are around 55-pound draw weight. So, anyone want to take a guess at an average weight of draw power of an English warbow in the 14th, 15th century? 100? Bruce's price, right? Higher or lower, ladies and gentlemen? Higher or lower than 100? Just come on, another number. 150. Higher or lower, ladies and gentlemen? Higher? Well, actually, we're looking at about 130 to 150 pound draw weight. That wasn't that bad. Okay? So that's nearly triple what the Olympic archer uses today. Okay? You think why? Why? Because in the same period, we're looking at American flat bows, we're looking at bows across Europe, we're looking at bows in the Near East, the Far East. They were very much 50, 60 pound draw weight. So why, as English, do we need massive bows that fling massive arrows
they're doing well now.
Anyone take a guess why?
Right, I'm going to go back. You stand here.
To get further. No, my arrow from the really big bow, about the same distance, is a £50 bow. Bigger the bow, bigger the arrow. You can exchange it, half empty spread is about the same distance. So, anyone take a guess? Come on.
It's real for things like that. As poor as you are, you may just have linen and wool and more simple things. But the general structure of the garment and all of it is roughly similar. So if I could start out with my step one, done. Don't make eye contact. So, the gentlemen and the ladies here are all wearing an underwear, effectively their underwear, which is all made from linen. So the ladies are wearing what we call a shift. Ladies bracket underwear. Woo! And for the gentleman, he's wearing a shirt, and then underneath his trousers, which are quite good, he's wearing a piece of grey, which are effectively like linen boxes, make the sort of the same function. So linen is a natural fibre. It grows well in cool climates, as well in this country. It's very easy to clean, and it keeps your body of your more expensive and more valuable garments that you wear over the top. So you would wash your shirt and your shit far more often than you would wash your outfit layers. So everyone's kind of wearing this basic, and this kind of goes all through this exercise. If you're extremely well, like the people down there, your base layers may have been made out of silk, but it's much more heavy than they would have been made from linen. The gentleman on the end, I'm going to start with you. He's wearing a paw point, so that's the garment that looks somewhat like a waistcoat. So this performs the function of holding up his hose. So the hose are the sort of the trouser equivalent of the tie. They have a seam running down the back. Thank you, Ben. Pose. Excellent. And these are held up by the paw point. They are also held up sometimes by a doublet, but this man perhaps cannot afford such a luxury and is just sort of sparing us the sight of his underwear. Thank you. He also has a straw hat that has just been woven out, maybe out of reed sometimes as well. This is protecting him from the sun and is also conserving his modesty a little as well. He's not exposing any of his hair. In the 15th century, we have not yet invented factor 50, which is a great shame for the gingers amongst us. So the straw hat that he's wearing is effectively serving the same purpose. It is keeping the sun off his face and off his chest also, and then the rest of him is covered by his clothing. Thank you, Ben. So the ladies, over the top of their shifts, their underwear layer, they are wearing what we sometimes refer to as a kirtle. So this is a garment that generally laces up the front. If you're wealthy enough to afford someone to dress you, they can also lace at the sides and at the back. But these ladies are going to be dressing themselves on a regular basis, unfortunately. So this is the supportive garment in the sense of we are before the bra, we are before the corset. So all of the lady goodness has to be supported by the kirtle. So this is a fitted garment, and then the gown goes over the top. So these ladies would be dressed enough to be working in their own homes or in the fields or doing some kind of physical labour. God forbid they be seen out in public in good company dressed such. It would be shameful. They would then have a third layer over the top, which would then make them acceptably dressed. They also both have a simple linen head covering that is covering their hair. So this was done both for religious reasons and also for hygiene. So most women would have worn their hair very, very long, but this would only really ever be seen in private. And generally, even in your own house, even when you were sleeping, you would have worn head coverings like this. So these, I believe, are just simple rectangles of linen that are then wound about the head and then cover your hair. Excellent, fabulous, thank you. And the lady here is also wearing an apron. So the apron forms the exact same purpose now as it did 500. He's also wearing a very simple coat. So this would kind of be the third layer equivalent for men. So the gentleman on the end, poor Master Benjamin, scum that he is also not appropriately dressed to be seen by good company. However, this gentleman, although he is working, is far better well dressed. So you have covered, are you wearing a doublet as well? Fabulous. So his doublet underneath his coat is performing the same function and holding up his hose, but then this is also covered over the top by his coat. So you are quite well dressed, if not particularly fashionable. I hope you don't take that badly. Fabulous. The gentleman is also wearing a pair of spectacles. So these did exist in the period. obviously they weren't as technical and refined as glasses wearers are today, so some of us that can't see very well just kind of make do. I do believe that they were quite expensive at the time. Reasonably expensive. So you are working as a craftsman, you're not necessarily poor, so you can afford the luxury that would be being able to see. Fabulous. Could I have the lady in the middle? Thank you. So we're now entering the realm of what we like to think of in modern terms as the middle class. So this lady is very well dressed for a person of reasonable wealth at the time. So she has a woolen overgown, which is made of a very fine wool. So she may not be able to afford an entire gown of silk or velvet or something like this, but she can afford a very fine wool, which also would have been very valuable at the time. She does have a silk kirtle underneath. So this is the sort of the fancier, slightly more well-off version than the dress that these two ladies were wearing. But it is performing the same function.